When residents of Hyannis, Massachusetts first saw a young man walking 6 German Shepherds through their streets without a single leash, they didn't just stare. They called the police. What authorities discovered when they investigated would turn everything this small town believed about dog training completely upside down. Imagine a quiet morning in downtown Hyannis. Pedestrians freeze on the sidewalk. 6 powerful German Shepherds glide past in tight formation. No leashes, no collars, no restraints of any kind. At their center walks Augusto de Oliveira, a soft-spoken man in his early 20s, guiding his pack with nothing but small hand signals and low whistles. A flat palm means stop. A gentle tap on his thigh means heel. A short whistle means resume. The dogs don't react to barking dogs behind fences. They ignore passing cars, they show zero interest in other pedestrians. Each animal holds its exact position like a piece in a living puzzle. When a curious stranger steps too close, Augusto raises one hand. All 6 dogs freeze simultaneously. He drops his hand. They continue moving without missing a beat, flowing back into formation like they share one brain. This wasn't a trick. This wasn't a one-time performance. This was every single day. As word spread through the small town, fascination turned into suspicion fast. How could one person control 6 large, powerful dogs so completely? The whispers started, hidden shock collars, cruel punishment. Something dark happening behind closed doors. The suspicion deepened when people noticed how isolated Augusto seemed. He rarely spoke to neighbors. He had no visible social circle. He spent virtually all his time with his dogs. For a young man in his 20s, it struck people as strange. Evening after evening, residents would peer through his apartment windows, hoping to catch a glimpse of what was really going on. A local animal rescue volunteer became convinced something sinister was at play. She organized a petition demanding an official investigation, arguing that such extreme obedience could only come from abuse. Others joined the cause. Anonymous tips flooded the local animal control office. The authorities had no choice. They launched a formal investigation. But what they found inside that apartment wasn't what anyone expected, not even close. When police and animal welfare experts arrived, they braced for the worst: cages, muzzles, evidence of punishment. Instead, they walked into what looked like a dog's paradise. The 6 German Shepherds, Griffin, Harmony, Jenna, Priscilla, Hannah, and Savannah, weren't locked away. They roamed freely. Some slept on Augusto's bed. Others sprawled across the living room carpet or curled together on the couch. Their food bowls contained high-quality nutrition. Their coats were thick and healthy. Their nails were trimmed. Their eyes were clear and bright. Most telling was their behavior. When Augusto walked into the room, every dog perked up. Not with fear, not with nervous submission, with genuine excitement. Tails wagging, bodies relaxed. They leaned into him, nudged his hands, competed for his attention like children greeting a parent they adored. Animal behavior specialists spent multiple days observing the household. They watched feeding routines, exercise sessions, and rest periods. Their conclusion was unanimous and unambiguous. These dogs were thriving. No signs of abuse, no signs of fear-based conditioning. No signs of anything except an extraordinarily deep bond between one man and 6 animals. The investigation was closed. Augusto was cleared completely. But the real question remained. How did he actually do it? Augusto grew up on a rural farm in Brazil, surrounded by German Shepherds from the time he could walk. While other kids watched television, young Augusto sat for hours observing how dogs communicated with each other. He studied their body language. He watched how pack hierarchies formed naturally. He learned to read the subtle shifts in posture, ear position, and eye contact that dogs use to establish trust and authority. By the time he was a teenager, he understood something most professional trainers spend decades trying to grasp. As Augusto has explained in interviews, his philosophy comes down to one idea. Dogs don't need to be controlled. They need to be led. And there's a massive difference. German Shepherds are hardwired for pack life. They crave structure, hierarchy, and a leader they can trust. Most owners try to fill that role through commands, corrections, and physical restraints. Augusto filled it through routine, consistency, and relationship. Here's what his daily process actually looked like. Every morning, he fed each dog individually, one at a time. He maintained calm eye contact during feeding, reinforcing a personal connection with each animal. No rushing, no competition between dogs. Each one got his undivided attention. Every afternoon, the pack exercised together as a unit. Long, structured walks where every dog learned its position relative to Augusto and to each other. These walks started on leash, then graduated to off-leash. Only after each dog consistently chose to hold position on its own. Every evening he practiced what he called calm authority, simply existing in the same space with the dogs, rewarding relaxed behavior, ignoring attention-seeking, and reinforcing that his presence meant safety and stability. Every night they shared the same living space. No separation, no isolation. The pack slept together because that's what packs do. The result wasn't obedience through fear. It was loyalty through trust. The dogs followed Augusto because following him felt right to them. He had become in every way that mattered to a German shepherd, their leader. The invisible leashes that amazed onlookers were actually bonds of respect, built one quiet day at a time over months and years. The investigation that was meant to expose Augusto ended up launching his career. The controversy proved his methods were not only humane, but remarkably effective. Word traveled beyond Hyannis, and soon dog owners from across New England were contacting him for help. In 2013, Augusto opened Griffin Shepherd Kennels, named after his lead dog. His specialty became the cases everyone else had given up on. Aggressive dogs that had bitten their owners, anxious rescues too traumatized to function, chaotic adolescent dogs that had been labeled permanently untrainable. One by one, Augusto transformed them, not with force, not with expensive gadgets, with patience, structure, and the same quiet leadership he practiced with his own pack. His street demonstrations grew bolder. He began walking larger groups through increasingly challenging environments. Busy intersections, crowded farmers markets, bustling downtown areas. While Massachusetts leash laws technically required restraints in public, his demonstrations drew more admiration than enforcement, with even local officials acknowledging the extraordinary level of control he maintained. Then came the moment that changed everything. A passerby in downtown Boston filmed Augusto walking his 6 German shepherds off-leash through city streets and posted it online. The video racked up millions of views within days. Professional trainers from Europe and Asia reached out to study his methods. Animal behaviorists cited his work as a textbook example of positive pack leadership. Media outlets lined up for interviews. Augusto, the quiet kid from a Brazilian farm who barely spoke to his neighbors, had become one of the most talked-about dog trainers in the country. What makes Augusto's story resonate isn't just the spectacle of 6 unleashed German shepherds walking in perfect formation, it's what that spectacle represents. We live in a world that defaults to force. Leashes, corrections, shock collars, dominance techniques, quick fixes that create compliance but never connection. Augusto proved there's another way, a harder way, a slower way, but a way that produces results no shortcut can replicate. His dogs don't walk beside him because they have to. They walk beside him because he spent years earning the right to lead them, and they chose to follow. As Augusto once put it simply, you can make a dog obey you, but you can't make a dog trust you. That you have to earn. Today, if you visit Hyannis on any given morning, you might still see them. 6 German shepherds moving in perfect formation down a quiet sidewalk, no leashes in sight. And at their center, a man who proved that the strongest bonds aren't the ones you can see. They're the ones you build. What do you think about Augusto's approach? Could you ever walk your dog without a leash? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story gave you chills, hit subscribe, because we've got more stories like this coming that you won't want to miss.